Hello everyone. So today we're going to solve system of equations with three variables. These are linear systems. Notice that you have x, y, and z now. And technically the mathematical term for this type of equations are planes. They're not equations anymore. They are called planes. So we're trying to find a way to solve these. But before we do them, I would like to review some basic things that will help us solve this. Okay, so let me go back to something very basic. Now, the ones that you're looking at right now, negative x plus y equals 16, 6x plus y equals negative 17. Those two are equations of a line, each of them. And what we're trying to do here is trying to solve them. Sometimes these systems don't have a solution. In that case, that would imply that two lines are parallel. Obviously, they don't meet because they have the same slope. Also, sometimes you have infinitely many solutions, meaning that the two lines are exactly the same. They're just a multiple of one of the other. And sometimes, which is the one that we're looking for, they have a unique solution, meaning that they actually meet at an order pair, and that's what we're going to find. Now, remember, our goal here is to first review, and then we're going to solve the system of a 3 by 3, meaning three variables, three unknowns. All right, so now three questions and three unknowns, sorry. So now we're going to solve this. This is just a warm-up. Some of you already probably know this. There are different ways you can do this. You can do this by substitution, by elimination. The first thing that comes to my mind here, and by the way, you can solve it the way that you know it best. Okay, so if the system says solve it by substitution or elimination, you can ignore that. I don't really care how you solve it as long as you get the right answer. Now, let's look at this example here. If you were to solve this by elimination, right? Notice that it would be nice if we're able to get rid of the y or the x. It doesn't matter which one you get rid of. But I was just thinking that if you somehow multiply the top equation by -1 to turn that positive y into a negative, and let's see what happens. So I'm going to multiply this by a negative, and I'm going to write the new equation in red so you can see what's going on. So this would be 5x minus y equals to -16. So notice that I multiplied this by negative, and the reason why is because I wanted to convert this positive y into a negative y here. And you will see why in a minute. Now, when I rewrite the bottom equation exactly the same, I'm just going to rewrite it. You see now that the y's cancel because the top one is -y and the bottom one is +y, so they cancel out. That's exactly the reason why I multiply the top one by negative. So now what do we have here? You add 5x plus 6x gives you 11x. And then you add the two numbers, 16 and 17, okay? And you get -33. You divide by by 11, and your answer will be 3, but a -3. Now, so now we know what the x value is. So the x value is going to go here. And now we just need to find the y value. So at this point, you go back to the main system, and out of the two equations that you had originally, you choose one, doesn't matter which one, and you substitute the value of x with -3. So I'm gonna pick the one at the bottom. -3 plus y equals to -17. So notice that at this point, the only unknown now is the y value. So let's see what that is. So this gives you -18 plus y. subtract the 18 here. So I just added it here. So that cancels. And I also added it on the other side. So the y value is just 1. 17, negative 17 plus 18 is just 1. So the solution set, if you will, if you want to write it in a set notation, is the order pair negative 3 comma 1. And that's it. Okay. All right, let's do another one. Now, you would have gotten the same answer if you have chosen negative 5x plus negative y equals 16. It doesn't matter which one you select. You would have gotten the same answer as well. Let's do another one. Now, notice I left a blank page here just in case we needed the space. And sometimes you do need the space because there's a lot of writing. All right, let's look at this one here. I think you already know what I'm going to do. I'm going to multiply the bottom one. And by the way, the fact that I got rid of the y on the first example, okay, doesn't mean that I always have to get rid of the y. I can get rid of the x if I want to, okay? But the way that I see it now is easier if I get rid of the y. And what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna multiply the bottom equation by negative 3 this time, and you will see why. So the bottom one will now be 6x minus 3y equals to 21. Remember, I'm multiplying each of these terms, okay? Now the top equation, I'm just gonna write it exactly the same it is. Nothing changes, okay? Nothing will change. So this will be plus 3y minus equals to 23. All right, so now, as you can see again, the y value cancels. Now we have 11, x equals to 46, okay? And what do we have? 46. And we get this weird number. Let me take a look at this for 1 second here. What happened? I was hoping to get a nice number here, but I didn't. And I want to know what happened. Oh, I see what I did. Let me see. 5x, 3y. Okay, I'm just checking. And I wrote it correctly. Okay, now let's see what we have. 46. We have this ugly number. Okay, I was hoping to end up with a better number, but it is what it is. Okay, so now what do we have? I'm just going to double check my work here. 3 times 2, 6. That's negative 3. 7 times negative 3 times negative 7 is 21. 23. That's 44. Oh my goodness. Look at the mistake that I made. I cannot even add. What's wrong with me today? This is 44. Okay. 23 plus 21 is 44. So that means the x is actually 4. Much better than before. So my x value is 4 comma, and then we just need to find the y value. All right, so let's pick the top one. I'm going to choose the top equation. And I'm going to substitute the x with 4, and let's see what happens. You see the mistake that I made here? Unbelievable, but it happens, okay? But I caught it, I fixed it, and we're okay. All right, so this will give you 20, and this will be 23. So I'm going to move the 20 over. So this is gone. So what do we have left? I'm going to have 3y equals to 3. When you divide by 1 both sides, you end up with 1. So this gives you 1. So my solution is 4 comma 1, the order pair 4 comma 1. And sometimes they ask you to write it in set builder and braces. You just write the order pair 4 comma 1. And sometimes they just ask you to provide the order pair Either way is fine. That's not a big deal. Okay, so this is all review. This is something that we teach at the lower level classes, but whenever I'm introducing a topic, I prefer to give you some kind of refresher, and hopefully you remember how you did this before. All right, let's move on to the 3x3s then. And here is the first one. So now we have a third variable, z, the z value, okay? All right, so now this is gonna take a lot of writing, so let's hope for the best. The goal here is to eliminate one of the three variables. So we're gonna pick a pair, and let's hope that one of the three variables gets eliminated. So what if I choose the first equation and the second one? What happens if I choose that one and I add them together? Do you see that the z cancels? Okay, so let me write it here. This is going to be a lot of rewriting, okay, guys? So just be patient. We're not doing fancy mathematics. It's just some basic adding, subtracting, dividing. That's all you're doing. And I'm going to choose the second equation, and you will see why in a minute. I hope that you can see now that when I add those two guys together, the z value gets eliminated. So what's left? 4x minus 2x is 2x. 3y plus y is 4y equals to negative 8. So this is my first equation. Notice that now I have a new equation of two variables, which I'm going to put on hold. Okay, I'm going to put on hold. I'm going to hold it. Remember that I chose the first and second equation. Now I need to choose a different pair. And since I already eliminated z, I need to choose a second pair in which I have to eliminate z again. So let's see what would be the best option. What if I choose the second one and third? What if I do that? What if I do that? What if I choose the second and third equation? Well, I have the plus and minus that I need, but I don't have the 2z here. I don't have that yet. How do I make that happen? Okay. How do I make that happen? So what I need to do is that I need to multiply the second equation by 2, just by 2. And I'm going to write it right here, just below. Okay, so I'm going to multiply this by 2. And what do I end up with? I'm going to put it right below the third equation. Okay, I'm going to write negative 4x plus 2y plus 2z, which is exactly y. I multiply by 2, and I end up with negative 16. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm going to get rid of this one. I don't need it. Okay, and now out of the third and second equation, basically because I multiplied by 2, by a multiple of 2, I'm going to now get rid of the z. Notice that this goes away. So what's left? 3x minus 4x is negative x. 4y plus 2y is 6y equals to negative 16 added to negative 4 is negative 20. So now these are the two equations that I'm left with after I've done all of that. Okay, this is what I need to solve now, those two. All right, so this, by the time you get to this point, you're back at doing something that you already done. Okay, now in this example, it just turned out that it was easier for us to eliminate the z value. That's not always the case. Sometimes you have to eliminate the x value or the y value. But what is something that is always the case and what you want to have is a new equation, as a new system of equations with only two variables. This is what I want to end up with. Okay. So now what do I do now to solve this system? So what I'm going to do, guys, to provide some extra room here is that I'm going to rewrite it on the other frame, on the other page. Okay. So bear with me for a second while I rewrite this. This is what we need to solve now. Okay. Oops. Made a mistake here. Let me clear it. Okay. So this will be 2x plus 4y. I'm just rewriting what we already did. Okay. So don't panic. This is just this plus 6y equals negative 20. All right. So now it makes sense in this case to eliminate the x. So I'm going to multiply the bottom equation by 2. So the top one, I'm going to rewrite it exactly the same. Notice that there's a lot of rewriting in this topic, which is kind of scary because the more that you have to rewrite things, it increases the chances of making a typo, and then we all go nuts because we cannot find the mistake. So this will be negative 2x plus 12x equals to negative 20. Sorry, negative 40. Negative 40. Okay. All right, I'm just checking here. All right, so this is what we have. So what do we have here now? We get rid of this x, and now we have 12 plus 4y gives you 16y. Negative 48. You divide by 16, and you get 16 divided by 48 divided by 16. It's just 3. Negative 3. Actually, yeah, negative 3. Why is negative 3? Because the negative is the 48, but the 16 at the bottom is positive. So we end up with negative 3. Negative 3. Y is equal to negative 3. So now, since we find the y, we're going to find the x now. So I'm going to choose the top one. 2x plus 4 times negative 3 equals to negative 8. Okay, negative 8. Erase this here. And then this will be 2x minus 12 equals to negative 8. Add the 12 to both sides. That gives you 4. Okay, and divide by 2, and you get x equals 2. So far, notice that our answer are going to be 2 comma negative 3, and then we still have to find z value. We don't know what that is. Okay, so now I need to go back. Remember, the answer is 2 negative 3. Okay, so I'm going to write it here. 2 negative 3. We just need to find the z value. Okay, so now you go back to the original system and you pick any of them. It doesn't matter which one. And you substitute the x value with 2, the y value with y variable with negative 3, and then we're going to find the z value. All right, let's do that. So I'm going to choose the first one. 4 times 2 plus 3 times negative 3 minus z equals 0. Okay, so what do we got here? We have 8 minus 9 equals z. This gives you negative 1 minus z equals 0. Move the negative 1 over. So you get positive 1, but then you have to divide by negative 1. So your answer would be z equals to negative 1. And so my answer, the way that I write it, is 2 comma negative 3 comma negative 1. And that's my answer. So as you can see, we have to write a bunch of stuff over and over. It's just a matter of keeping track. This is like accounting, it's just bookkeeping. You're not doing logs, you're not doing anything fancy. This is just solving for X, Y, and Z. And this is the best way to do it. Um, Sometimes the answer turns out to be nice like this one. You got integers, 2, -3, -1. Sometimes you have a fraction. You know, life is not always easy, okay? All right, let's move on to the last one. All right, so look at this one here. This is a different one. So when you're looking at this, you have to find a variable to eliminate. And sometimes the nature of the problem tells you what to do. So if you look at this example, I will notice first that it makes sense to get rid of the of the y, because if I add the first and second equation, which I'm going to do here, I'm going to add the first and second equation. So when you add the first and second equation, you're going to end up with x. The y will cancel. Then you have 2z minus z gives you just plus c, right? Equals to 7 take away 6 is 1. All right. So what I did then, let me repeat myself, is that I added the first and second equation. So visualize what I just did. It's very simple. I added the first and second equation. Negative x plus 2x is just x. 2y minus negative 2y cancels out. 2z minus z is just z. 7 take away 6 gives you 1. And I end up with this. So now I need to choose a different pair. Let me think which pair will make sense. I'm going to choose the first one and the third. But the second one, I'm going to have to multiply by 2. So that this here becomes 4y. That way, when I add it to the third, the y will cancel. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down right below here what happens to the first equation when I multiply it by 2. So this becomes negative 2x plus 4y plus 4z equals 2. 7 times 2, 14. And this is gone. Okay? So now I just need to add those two guys. When I do that, this cancels. That's exactly what I wanted. 3x minus 2x is just x. Negative 2z plus 4z is plus 2z. 14 take away 9. 14 take away 9 gives you 5. And this is the new system of equation that I need to solve. Notice that this one, it only has x and z. It doesn't have y because we got rid of the y. So how do we solve this one? All right. How about if we do this we can do it by elimination. We can just multiply the top one by -1. That will do the job. Okay. Or we can also do it by substitution. Whichever way you do it is fine, guys. At this point, it doesn't matter which method you use, okay? So I'm going to multiply the top one by -1. And I'm going to write it just right here below. You see? There it is. And this one, I'm just going to rewrite it exactly the way it is. This cancels. What's left here is z. And what's left here is 4. So z is 4. Okay. Now I can choose either one. I'm going to choose this one here. And I'm going to substitute the z value with c variable with 4. So this gives you x. This is 8. Move that 8 over. Okay. And this x will be -3. So I got 2 out of the 3 variables. Okay, so I got -3. I still don't know what the y value is. And I also got is z, which is 4. Okay, so now I need to go back to this here, and I need to choose one of them. Okay, I need to choose one of them. So where is this? Right here. Oh, I didn't use the perfect. I thought I used a different page or different frame. I'm still in the same frame. So now that I have 2 out of 3, I'm going to choose, it doesn't matter, guys. I'm going to choose this one because I want to. Okay. So I'm going to erase some of the stuff that I don't need so that we can have everything in the same page. Everything will be in the same page. All right. So here we go. So the x is -3, so I'm going to write 2 times -3 minus 2y minus, what is z? Is 4 equals to -6. All right. So what's all of this? This is going to be -6 minus 2y. A lot of writing, guys. That's what this is all about. A lot of writing. So that is actually -2y minus 10 equals to -6. Okay. So now I can erase this stuff here that I don't need. And so that I can fit in my answer, okay? So I have this -10, I'm gonna move it over. If I move -10 to the other side, it becomes positive. -6 plus 10 is 4. Divide by -2. So my y is -2. Now, do not drop the ball at the very end, okay? Make sure that you write this the proper way. So this is going to be a triplet. X is -3. Now we know y is -2 and z is 4. And that's it. This is your answer. Okay. So that means that the three planes, geographically, what is going on? That means that the three planes, they're not lines anymore. The three planes meet at this point. Okay. The graphing all of this and more complicated examples and topics is something that you study in pre-calculus, but for now, this is good enough to give you an idea how to solve the systems, okay? All right, guys, I hope you're doing well, and I see you soon. All right.